What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and about a week ago, I bought an Xbox One Elite controller. Now, yeah, it turned out it was pretty much an impulse buy. I was in work and we got one in, and I was looking at it all day and messing around with it all day, and eventually, just as we were closing up, I said, "Fuck it, I'll buy it. Just give me the controller." So, I was initially a bit, what would we call it? I wouldn't say hesitant. I was initially a bit disappointed in myself. I tested it out of sorts in work, but I couldn't actually test it with games or anything like that. But I did get to, hold it, feel around with it, feel the weight, the layout of the buttons, with it, the all optional accessories and stuff like that, with the other thumbsticks and paddles and all that. So I was a bit disappointed in myself that I ended up buying it. I do stupid stuff with money, as you can tell. But over the past week or so, whenever I'm not working, sleeping, or playing Fallout 4, I've tried to fit in a little bit of console gaming, simply to test out the Xbox One Elite controller. So I played a variety of games. I say a variety of games. There's literally like four different games that I tried out. I played a first-person shooter on Xbox One. I played Halo 5 Guardians. My tests for that were multiplayer online, so that's where that one comes in. I also tested, as you're seeing here, Killer Instinct, and I haven't bought anything with Killer Instinct. I got Shadow Jago on like day one when the Xbox launched, and I just use him. And I actually had to re-download this because I uninstalled it like a year and a half ago. It was a big ass download, so I tested out some of that as well. So those are two different types of Xbox One games. And what I also did was I tried it out on my PC as well. Now, I know most people are going to freak out. It's like, what the fuck are you doing using a controller on a PC, you noob? Anyway, I don't usually play games on consoles. I don't usually play games on PC with a controller. The exception being a couple of games that I played a significant amount of time in on console before I had got this PC up and running, and I instead of trying to adapt, I just said, fuck it, I'll use my controller on the PC. And I was, up until now, I've been using a Logitech Chillstream controller. Worked pretty well, very similar to the 360 layout. But I've tried out the Xbox One controller, and I tried 3 different games. Was it 3? Can't remember if it was 3 or 2 or 3. Yeah, so Jesus, I can't remember what I said a minute ago. But anyway, the games I actually tested out was, like I said, Halo 5 Guardians on the Xbox, Killer Instinct on the Xbox. I also tried Resident Evil 5 on PC with the controller. I tried Dead Space on PC with the controller, and there was one other game. Oh yeah, Batman Arkham City. I tried on PC with the controller as well, and they're just 3 games that I had been like ingrained into me on controller just from consoles, like I said, before I got it up and running. Anyway, so what do I think about it basically? Well, we'll get on to that now in a minute, because I'm just going to quickly go over some of the benefits and all of the Xbox One Elite controller, because it is about twice the price of a regular controller. So that's a hefty asking price for that kind of thing. Now, this isn't a review. This is just my opinion on stuff. I don't like to say I give reviews or anything like that, because yeah, it's just no, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, first off, you get the Xbox One Elite controller. Naturally, it feels a lot better. It's a lot sturdier. It has a much better grip at the back. It has a much better feel all over it. The material on the front as well just isn't a standard plastic. It's kind of like that rubberized plastic, whereas the grip on the back is whatever they call, like diamond etched grip, I believe it's called. And I will say this: the grip on the back does work pretty well. It's fairly secure. Even though I didn't really have an issue with the original Xbox One controllers, if in that regard, or even say like the second gen ones with the Master Chief controllers that I have, this still felt better. The second you pick it up as well, it feels a lot more sturdy, has a lot more weight to it, and it feels like a better product overall. Now, it also comes in a carry case. The carry case isn't worth mentioning at all, other than that fact that it comes with it, and it comes with a couple of extras. You have the standard sticks, the standard length, height sticks, whatever you want to call them, for the analog sticks. You also get like the nub versions of the sticks. So if you're more comfortable playing with thumbsticks that are significantly shorter than the existing ones, they have you covered on that too. Basically, you just pop them off. They're held in by magnets, and they're fairly strong magnets as well. I remember when I first heard about them, I was like, that's just begging to just come off in the middle of gameplay, and I've never once had a problem with that. I never felt them slipping. I never felt them just falling off, anything like that. So they have the nub versions as well. They also the next one, they also come with extended ones, extended thumbsticks, or as I like to call them, nipple thumbsticks. So these are like, it would be an exaggeration to say they're like an inch long nipple thing, but they're fairly massive. I mean, they're almost, if probably twice the length of the original Xbox One sticks, or the ones that even come on as standard. They're about twice as long as that. They're to me at least, they feel really uncomfortable and all. I know there are people out there who prefer to play with ones at that length, because I've seen people play with those like stick extenders that clip onto the top and stuff like that. I've seen people play with them. It's just not for me, but they have you covered in here regardless. There's also two types of D-pad. There's the standard D-pad style. It's much sturdier, much more responsive feel to it. It's got kind of I'm not sure if it's actual metal, but it's got like a metal feel and metal finish to it. So it could go either way. I personally use the standard sticks as well as the original style D-pad. It also comes with another D-pad that's basically kind of like a dish or a plate, whatever way you want to call it. It's supposed to be a lot easier to rotate around and use like the other directions, like upright, bottom left, blah blah blah. It's supposed to be a lot easier for that. Personally, I had a little bit of trouble using that myself, so I did stick to the other one, simply because I could manage to work it and all that as well. It worked pretty well for me. Hair triggers, it's got hair trigger locks, so there's these little switches that you can flip on the back, and they will basically lock your triggers to like half press length. So basically, instead of being able to press the trigger the entire way down, it actually locks it so you can only press it about, if it's even 50% down. So it comes in really, I found that really, really handy for Halo, because with my Halo playstyle, I use a lot of what would you call it? I use a lot of semi-automatic weapons. So I'm a handgun guy. I'm a DMR guy. I'm a battle rifle guy. So generally you have me using those. They comes in really handy for popping off shots as quick as possible. So I did notice that had a significant improvement. Other than that, the only other thing left to mention really are the paddles. So you've got the paddles on the back. Now, you can customize these to whatever you want. There's a whole button mapping facility, which was actually added to regular controllers as well. But it does have the ability to map the buttons around, and obviously individual games will allow you to do different control schemes as well. So the way I had it set anyway is I had one set for my thrusters, so I could just quickly slide and just dodge out of the way just as needed. I had another for sprint, and there was, I think my other one was for grenade. There was one that I just kind of left blank. I didn't really use it too much, but those were the ones I had anyway, and I found them really to be working really, really well. It was a little bit strange at first to actually get used to, because I'd automatically just reach back for my standard buttons. But then after 2 or 3 games, when I kind of forced myself to actually use them, I just found myself using them just out of habit at that point. And it worked out really well. It was really intuitive. And I want to say, I'll go out and just basically say it essentially, was that it feels like I could react to it better, because I know people will say, well, there's so little time and all in there, between movement and finger movement and pressing and all that. Even though there's usually so little movement and all anyway, the gameplay is just generally so fast that it feels like the extra little bit of time, maybe like half a second you're saving, it feels like that can save you more than once. It feels like a lot of the times that I actually got in to do that it helped really well. That's how it felt anyway. That's how it appeared when I was actually playing it. So they're the main benefits to it anyway. And what I did when I swapped over and I went to Killer Instinct, I had to take the paddles off, because there was enough buttons as it is, and there was no, with the, what would you call it, the like hand position layout of that I use personally anyway for Killer Instinct. I didn't need the paddles, and they just felt in the way, so I did take them off for that. I also removed the hair trigger locks because I didn't need them for Killer Instinct either. And this is where one of the other things I want to mention kicks in as well, because it was more noticeable during Killer Instinct than it was during Halo or even any of the PC games. So the weight of the movement on the controller feels so much better. Like, I won't call it inertia because that's not right, but when you have weighted movement behind all your controls and all, you really know what you're pressing and the responsiveness and the feedback from it. Because I'm not sure if it's because of the magnets or it's just because of how they have it set up internally to specifically give this kind of feeling. But when you're moving the thumbsticks, you feel it. In a game like Killer Instinct, that's important in a fighting game, simply because you're pressing whatever direction, be it for movement or charging up a special move or as part of a combo or whatever it is. That's pretty important, and it definitely feels pretty good too. So they're the main things for it anyway, at least for the Xbox One games. I didn't use the D-pad too much, simply because the D-pad isn't really my preferred thing. It's my preferred thing of control in older games where it's actually designed around a D-pad or with a D-pad in mind. But for Killer Instinct, it's not really as viable as you might think. So that's it for the Xbox One side of it anyway. I also tried it on the PC, as I mentioned a couple of times as well. My old controller didn't actually have a vibration function, because instead of the vibrator motor, it actually had a fan inside it. As funky as that sounds. So it was very strange to actually go to a PC game and have vibration on it. So like I said, I tried Resident Evil 5, a game I've played ridiculous amounts of times on 360 and PC. And what else did I play? Arkham City as well, and Dead Space. So they're all three games that I have massive amounts of experience with, at both high and low frame rates, at both the 360 style controller and a similar one on PC. And I have to say, using the Xbox One Elite controller made a hell of, I won't say it made a hell of a difference, but it was a hell of a lot different in a good way. It didn't, like I said, it didn't really affect my skills or anything, because I'm pretty boss at those games as it is anyway. But it just felt more natural, and everything just felt more fluid, and it felt right. That's the only way I can put it in. I will say, on PC, at least anyway, my PC I should say, was, since I'm running Windows 7, I have to use it wired. Not a problem for me personally. But I also don't, because I'm using Windows 7, I don't have access to the button remapping app. Not a problem for me on PC. I didn't mind that at all. And I had to, I mentioned I had to use it wired, because the wireless adapter, which I don't think is even out yet, I could be wrong, but I do know that only works with Windows 10 as well. That's what the box says anyway. But like, I'm not bothered by that. My other controller was wired. I'm sitting like a foot away from my PC screen when I'm playing PC games, even with a controller. So yeah, that didn't make a difference to me at all. But overall, having spent about a week or so with the controller and trying it on two platforms with various different types of games, like I tried the first person shooter, the fighting game, the third person shooters, and whatever you want to call Batman Arkham Knight, or Arkham City I should say, because Lord knows fucking Arkham Knight will never work on the PC. But yeah, whatever you want to call Batman, because of the precision for moving around during all the fights and the free flow combat, it worked really, really well. So even after the week or so with it, I now do not regret my decision, because originally, as I said at the start, I pretty much regretted, quote, wasting, unquote, my money on it. But now, having used it for all this time, I actually I tested it out tonight. I tried going back to a regular 360 controller, not 360 controller, regular Xbox One controller, while I was testing a bit of Killer Instinct as well. And I can't do it anymore. The Elite controller has ruined me. That's pretty much how it is. So in my opinion, I'm fairly happy with it, and I'm pretty much sorted for a controller for the rest of the Xbox One days, hopefully. I know one of my friends had an old MLG style controller that cost him, I think it was like 100, maybe €120 on PS3. I thought he was mental. I thought it was an absolute waste of money and all that. He exclaimed and proclaimed and whatever other words we can use for that over and over again that it wasn't a waste of money and there was a difference. Until now, I never believed him. Now, not only do I believe him, but now I know he was right. And if you get the chance, try one of these Elite controllers. You don't have to buy it, from the start or anything like that. But if you have the chance to play games with it, even if it's just for a few minutes or preferably for a few days, do take it. Give it an actual legitimate try, and you may not be as blown away by it as I was, but you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much of an improvement it is over the Xbox One controller. And that's all I have to say about it. I'm not recommending you run out and buy it unless you really want to, because like I said, I don't want the reviews, it just doesn't feel right to me. So let me know in the comment section below if you've tried the Xbox One Elite controller, if you thought it was madness, if you thought it's silly, if you thought it's stupid, if you thought anyone who buys it like myself is a fucking retard. You let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you love the controller, if you've tried it, or you hate it, and whatever your favorite features are that are missing from it. Let me know all of that. Anyway, other than all of that we've covered already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the rest of the videos in my channel.